Hoping to take your breath away, it's the film that made a young Tom Cruise a bona fide movie star, as jet planes and sexy volleyball collide to give us the highest grossing movie of 1986. It's Top Gun. It was Roger Ebert, when he reviewed Days of Thunder back in, whatever it was, 1990, came up with the 9 rules for the Tom Cruise picture. So the Cruise character, invariably a young and naive but naturally talented kid who could be the best if only he could tame his rambunctious spirit. The superior woman, usually older, taller and more mature than the Cruise character, who functions as a mentor for his spirit, while the male mentor supervises his craft.
Nice.
And finally, the proto-enemy, the bad guy in the opening reels of the movie who provides the hero with the opponent to practice on. At first, the Cruise character and the proto-enemy dislike each other, but eventually, through a baptism of fire, they learn to love one another.
I was actually writing a list of my own. Finds a father figure, suffers a crisis of confidence, matures, returns a better man, succeeds. It's not just these 2 films, it's also Cocktail and Colour of Money.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
I saw this. I was quite old, actually. I was in my late teens, probably a student. But the song is one of my earliest memories. I loved this song so much, but I was 5, so I didn't get it.
We're talking Berlin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Berlin, Take My Breath Away. I remember the video. I remember being very little, and I remember thinking that it was just brilliant. And it was the first thing I remember loving that I liked it. You know, normally when you're like 5, 6, you like stuff that your parents like or your older siblings or whatever else. But I was like, this is my song. This is my jam. Yeah. I loved it.
Well, when I was a kid, I would go round to my best friend's house, Matthew Kittredge, a.k.a. Kit Kat, and watch videos. And I was very interested in watching Steve Martin films and Chevy Chase films and Eddie Murphy films. That was my jam. But his elder brother, Daniel Kittredge, wanted to watch Top Gun all the time. Therefore, I watched Top Gun a lot. And I lost touch with those people. But I looked up Daniel Kittredge on LinkedIn. He became a Navy pilot.
No! What?
A multi-crew aircraft commander, and he's now an instructor and an examiner.
You lie! He's Top Gun!
Yes!
Fucking hell!
He did it. He made it happen.
Oh my God!
So I was really pleased to see that.
That's amazing.
Well done, Daniel.
That's incredible. There has a lot been said about this film in the intervening years about it being responsible for the death of cinema as we knew it, just because of what Bruckheimer and Simpson went on to do after this, pioneering, which was started by Jaws, of course, but obviously like the high concept pitch and packaging a film based on music, stars, visuals, rather than primarily story. It's a very snobby way of looking at things, but it does also hold water because we are in a bit of a weird situation with cinema at the moment.
Was it called the anti-auteur movement?
Yeah.
But it also doesn't help that the pitch was when they had writers in, they showed them the photo of the pilot and said, this is the concept.
Yeah.
And watching the writers talk about this, we said to them, that's not a concept, that's a photograph. So it's not snobbish. So, I mean, they were thinking that cynically about it.
Yeah, that's true.
The concept in the end became Star Wars on Earth.
Yes. They wanted the Navy to help them out with it because Don Simpson had been on An Officer and a Gentleman. And if you don't have the Navy, then you just spend a lot of money pretending that you've got the help of the Navy. So, for instance, in Top Gun, they got to use real F-14s. They got to use real pilots. And all they charged them was like the fuel and the wages rather than, everything else. So they saved a bit of a fortune there. There's a version that Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr. did where the baddies at the end are North Korean, but there is also a version where the baddies are Russian. And so the film was offered to John Carpenter. He turned it down because he was like, this will start another war if you shoot the Russians out of the sky. Then you've got Tony Scott. I mean, I haven't seen The Hunger, but that didn't go down very well, did it?
It's a music video, basí, for 2 hours.
Oh, that's perfect for this.
Yeah, well, Simpson and Bruckheimer are the few people that liked it.
Yeah.
But he also said that he'd shot an advert for Saab where, you'll remember the advert probably, it's a car racing a jet.
I remember
I do remember.
It was on in the UK.
Yeah, and so they were like, bang, you're
that
our
is
guy.
it, yeah.
Yes, you've just passed the audition.
I've read in lots of places that, lots of other actors were considered. And then you read just as many articles where they were like, it was only ever Tom Cruise who wanted. So who knows? But I'm sure it sounds better to Tom Cruise now if they're like, we only ever wanted you.
Yeah, I mean, and they said, to be fair, they said he kept turning it down.
He did, yeah. So what did they do? He kept turning it down, and then they put him in a plane, and then he said yes.
Yeah, well, they've got footage of this day where he goes there because he's got long hair from Legend.
Yeah,
and the pilots thought he was some hippie showing up, and so they thought we're going to put him through the ringer.
Yeah,
and they made him really sick, but. He loved it.
He's told me that story. It was a pilot who's actually one of the pilots in the film.
Yep.
Bozo, yeah. Bozo really like he took the piss. Like he was doing like rolls and loop the loops and shit, like stuff that is like. And it was his first time to play, and he was like he threw up in the cockpit.
Well, yeah. Where else are you going to throw up?
Yeah, open the window.
Oh, and then you just got to have the rest of the flight with it like sloshing around. Fucking hell.
Oh, it was great out there. It was beautiful. You loved it.
Fantastic. It's great. We had these beautiful billowing clouds we were going past. Just ripping through these clouds. Break your heart.
One big 12 o'clock high. One big 12 o'clock high.
Anyway, so we're going to meet some naval pilots to freaking Danger Zone, which I think is maybe the best scene. We'll come back to. I think all of the aerial camera work, I think the aircraft carrier, I think all those bodies on deck waving it in, that fucking hook on a stick or whatever that is.
The arrestor hook.
The arrestor hook. I just think it looks absolutely brilliant. It's a weird thing that it looks like, I know it's because the sun is setting, but it looks like an aircraft carrier in a sandstorm, which doesn't make any sense because it's in the Indian Ocean, but it just looks brilliant and I could watch that all day.
It's great, but they genuinely, I don't know whether in real life aircraft characters are that hot. Because everyone is dripping. Like, to the point where I think you'd struggle to do your job as a radar operator because of the sweat pouring into your eyes. Going, there's two bogies. No, it's sweat dripping down the radar screen.
100%. There's a scene towards the end where they're being told, the enemies are here, and Tom Cruise is so glistening with sweat, you would wonder about his health, as in, I don't actually think you're fit to fly because you're having a heart attack.
I was worried that Strickland from Back to the Future was going to drown in his own sweat at one point.
He should be in this more. He's so good.
Yes.
So, because Cougar kind of loses it in the air.
Well, put it simply. What is Cougar doing in an aeroplane?
Yeah, he doesn't seem cut out for it. To be honest.
Absolutely not. Surely at some point you are trained in pilot school for a missile lock on your aircraft and you don't immediately go, my kids, my wife, look, this photo that I'm allowed to have on my dashboard. Is it a dashboard? I don't know. But it's like, suddenly he's like, can't do anything anymore.
So but also he gets to quit, which is an interesting decision because I would have assumed he would be fired. Like there is no room not to be this person, but for that in the Navy kind of thing.
Really forgiving. Strickland is like, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
Like, no, I'm out. He's like, no, come on, seriously, that happens to everyone all the time.
all the time.
We're pretty shit, if I'm honest.
So Maverick meets Iceman and they make eyes at each other across the classroom. So we're going to get into this now. So in our recent section, what does Quentin Tarantino think?
Do you want to hear a bit?
Yeah.
I got a little bit of the speech.
Yeah, go on then.
This is from the film Sleep With Me, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a story about a man's struggle with his own homosexuality. That's serious. That is what Top Gun is about, man. You've got Maverick, all right? He's on the edge, man. He's right on the fucking line, all right? And you've got Iceman and all his crew. Right. They're gay. And they represent the gay man, all right? And they're saying, go the gay way, go the gay way. He could go both ways.
What about Kelly McGillis? Right?
Kelly McGillis, she's heterosexuality. She's saying, no. Go the normal way. Play by the rules, go the normal way. She's in the elevator, she is dressed like a guy. She's got the cap on, she's got the aviator glasses, she's wearing the same jacket that the Iceman wears. She is, okay, this is how I gotta get this guy. This guy's going towards the gay way. So I gotta bring him back. I gotta bring him back from the gay way. So
There is a line here that I'd never spotted before where doesn't Slider say about something that gives me a hard on. And
Someone
Iceman
responds,
goes, don't tease me.
Yeah.
I always thought it was subtext before.
There are justified queer readings of this film, but Maverick is ostensibly straight in that he harasses a woman at a bar by getting 12 men to shout a ballad at her, and then when that doesn't work, improbably, he follows her into the toilet to see if she wants to shag on the sink, which it's not good. Yeah.
$20 he was bet as well, so it is for a financial exchange as well. Goose bets him $20 for carnal knowledge of a lady on the premises.
Why'd you have to bet it? I don't get it. Like, we don't do that.
Everything's more exciting when you gamble.
That's true. I know that this film is quite famous for this romantic relationship. For me, there's just nothing there at all from this point on to the end of the film. You might disagree. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
You see sparks between Goose and his missus.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't see sparks between these two people.
There's a scene with Iceman, which is very charged. So that might be aggression, or it might be sexual energy, or it might be both. Iceman, I think, is supposed to be a bit of a dick. I think that's supposed to be your reading of him. But he seems quite reasonable.
Yes,
He does now.
He's the hero of this film,
Yeah.
and Maverick is the villain.
Yeah.
And yet they're not portrayed that way. But
Yeah.
As a
Basically-
kid, I definitely thought Iceman was a villain. It's only now as an adult you go, well, everything. I was like, is this the same character? Because as a kid, you're like, what a dick!
Yeah.
How dare he? And now you're like, speaking sense,
it's
making
that
sense.
it's that Karate
He's
Kid
actually
thing.
saying it quite reasonably as well. Like,
It's the Karate Kid thing, though, where Johnny is now the hero of Cobra Kai
Yeah,
because
yeah.
someone did a YouTube video pointing out that it's kind of shitty what happens to Johnny in Karate Kid. This bloke comes to town, steals his girlfriend, and sort of treats him like crap. And so he says to him, I don't like you because you're dangerous. Maverick says, that's right, I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing within the confines of their jobs.
that's right. Yeah, that's a very good point.
You could kill me. I could kill you. I might.
Well, Goose is sad because Maverick is fucking up their chances of even graduating. And Goose has got a family and Maverick gets a date with Charlie, but we've got time for a quick bit of beach volleyball in jeans. I love the volleyball scene. I cannot stop obsessing over the fact that Tom Cruise is playing in jeans.
Or it's bewildering.
Yeah, it's like
jeans
100 degrees outside.
on a hot day anyway.
Awful.
And then exercise in those jeans.
In my head as well, there were women watching them. There's no women watching
There's
them.
not,
It's
it's
just
hardly-
topless men
Yeah.
watching other topless men.
But anyway, he can't be late. Maverick can't be late for his date despite playing volleyball for no reason.
I love this.
So Maverick, oh God, I hate this. I always hate this in films where he's like, I've just come round to your house, but let's talk about my dad for a minute.
I like the fact before that he sort of looks at the wine like, are you going to pour me some fucking wine? And it's like the wine's in the middle of the table, and it's like he literally looks like, this is your house.
Yeah.
So A, pour me the wine, and now shut up and listen.
Well, this is the because she's like, I'm going. She says the line, which is one of the worst written lines I've ever heard. I'm going for a big promotion. Who says big promotion? Give the detail or don't tell the fucking story. So she's banging on about her big promotion, but then he's like,
Banging on. Banging on about it. She won't shut up.
I'm going for a big promotion. But then he's like, are you going to pour the wine? And then I was like, I don't know you, Charlie, because you've got a bottle of wine in front of you. Is your promotion story that interesting? You're like, God, sorry, I forgot to pour the wine. Oh, I'm leaving. And the point of the narrative is Maverick. He's still Maverick. He's not learning anything, God damn it. But then it does have consequence. So I've got lots of thoughts about this. Yeah, so basically it read to me, he's jockeying for position to get the shot with Iceman and he's not listening. And he's like, I want to do it, basically. Maverick does. I know this isn't what it is.
Right.
But then because of that, something happens, something jet wash, and the plane goes into a spin.
Something, jet wash.
Jet wash. And then the plane spins out of control and he can't get it back. So they have to eject. And Goose doesn't survive.
I remember as a kid being very puzzled about how Goose died. I wasn't sure. I think I worked it out in the end. Obviously, he breaks his neck when he hits the cockpits because it doesn't clear in time or something. But they do go. I think you said it. You said after the accident, they go out of their way to show you that Maverick wasn't responsible. Even beforehand, they're doing legwork there because you hear Goose, who never says anything like this previously. He's saying to Maverick, "Get in there, get behind Iceman." He's the one demanding that they go as close as possible.
I've got the shot. Come on, man. Let's get in there. Come on, man.
So therefore, it's not Maverick going, "I'm going to do it," and Goose going, "Actually."
Yeah, I think it's a huge error.
And it's also part of a rewrite they had to do, though, because the Navy wouldn't let them shoot a mid-air collision.
Yeah.
They didn't want that to be seen happening at Top Gun. And so that's why they had to come up with this. But it's got a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as you say, you've got this weird court-martial scene, which is just...
He gets absolved 3 times because Meg Ryan is like, it was absolutely not your fault, even though really we should be there to talk about how she's feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Goose has said to her, this guy's going to get me killed. The fact that she forgives him so easily there, I just don't buy.
She's got so much on her mind in that moment. She's like, but I'll take the time from my shock and grief to make sure you feel okay. And then we'll go to a military court so you can feel okay. And then later, Charlie's like, it's not your fault. So the film is telling me quite clearly, this had nothing to do with you, which is bonkers because his name is Maverick. So then he graduates, but there is no time to relax because there are enemy planes in the Indian Ocean somewhere and they might attack a ship or something. And now we are told, this is hostile, you can fire, as in before
Only
you
if
could.
you're fired upon, though, still. They still make it clear.
Oh, yeah, don't go out and start murdering people. Like, the rules of engagement
Well, yeah,
are the
but
same.
the other planes, the anonymous planes, have clearly been told, Yeah, don't wait for them to fire. Fire immediately.
Maybe they're better at war. I don't I don't know. And he sort of rescues Iceman because he can't leave his wingman because he's learning that you can't do that. The baddies are dispatched. It's all brilliant. There's a lot of hugging on the aircraft carrier at this point.
Val was not happy.
Really? With the
Yeah,
hugging?
he didn't like having to say the line.
You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime.
It's a famous line, but he said it felt corny and it didn't feel like something that Iceman would say.
He hasn't said much, to be honest. I don't know where you get
Yeah,
that
but he
from.
does that biting thing, doesn't he?
He does. What is that?
Yeah, Cruise and Scott weren't expecting that in that scene.
Fucking hell, no one would be.
They said it was odd, but it felt right.
It does. It's a brilliant movie moment because you go, whoa, wow, what's happened? But I can see why we might be leaning into a sexual interpretation of a shower scene. I forgot to say the bit where Goose dies. Viper comes in, doesn't he? And Tom Cruise is in his pants.
Oh yeah, and he tells him you've got to get over it.
He's literally
10 minutes.
just died.
10 minutes ago he died.
Get over it, son. These things happen. Okay.
But the thing I most noticed though when everyone's hugging each other is, oh, there's Tim Robbins. He's been in this film the whole time.
Well, he's in at the start, isn't he?
Yeah, but you just don't see his face very clearly. It's just funny that you've got this very famous actor and he's just in the background.
And then we need to tie up Maverick and Charlie with this music callback, which even though it's a very, it's a good love song and it's a sexy song and all the rest, it's just it's just an awful scene. I can't bear it.
But I have drunk in that bar and it's good fun. The piano's there.
Really?
You can go and sit at the piano.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I forgive this last scene because as the music plays, you get, and I love this in any movie, where you get shots of the actors from the film as the song plays.
Yeah, I
and
love
it's a nice touch that it's Goose that pops up first.
Yeah. And it goes a long way it's exactly what you said before about it. As long as you leave with a good feeling, you will just walk out going, do you know what? That was great.
Yeah.
Now, that was my 24 principle, that 24 is really bad for 35 minutes. But the 5 minutes at the beginning and end are so good.
It doesn't matter.
You think you've seen something amazing.
It does lift you. It's so funny. You're like, oh, there's my friends. It's a weird feeling.
And it didn't just influence movies. It influenced music. It influenced fashion. Aviators, those frigging bomber jackets. I bought one of those bomber jackets, although it was as much because of Memphis Belle as Tom Gunn.
Oh, man. Wow. Memphis Belle.
But even they put recruitment booths at the back of cinemas to sign people up.
Really?
This was this sort of changed the world a little bit, not in necessarily completely positive ways.
So what was your best scene, Alex?
You didn't really talk much, as I anticipated, about the action sequences.
What can you say?
That they're fucking epic.
Yeah.
The bit, mine is the first aerial combat training flight where they're taking on Jester. When Maverick slams on the brakes, he goes, I'll slam on the brakes and he'll fly right by. And I'm like, I wonder if that's going to look as good in 1986 as it does in my head. Oh, yes, it does!
Yeah.
And Michael Ironside's reaction shot, he's like, whoa, what just happened? It's so good. So, yeah. It's that moment. I think it's great. I'd never seen anything like it.
Okay.
Goose's death gets me every single time. I really get emotional. It creeps up on me.
Yeah.
So I'm picking that.
Yeah, where they're winching his lifeless body into the helicopter.
That is brutal, yeah.
Cruise really sells it.
Well, mine is also an action sequence, but it's like the establishing stuff at the start. So
Is it planes landing on the aircraft carrier to danger zone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
So
B-roll?
good.
Is it B-roll? A place?
I feel the need for speed.